Hi, welcome to Who's Watching Grandpa. I'm Rick Yost, and I've got a great show for you today, kids. Grandpa's going to talk to you all about religion. This is going to be fun. But before I get started, I got to do a little warning thing here. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. For you faithful that have tuned in, I am an atheist. I'm about to talk really, really bad about religion in general. No individuals. I'm about to blaspheme my ass off here, okay? And at several points, I'm sure I'm probably going to be using some pretty fucking bad language. So if it's possible that you're maybe already a little uncomfortable with this, please don't do this to yourself, okay? Hit that button and just kind of back on out of here, okay? Thank you very much. Catch you next time. Okay. I'm going to first talk about belief and how I see it. Then I'm just going to throw out a few concepts, and then that'll be it. This isn't going to be very long and tedious. This is going to be over fairly shortly. So, all right. Belief or believe. The concept of those words. What they mean. That's just about the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard of in my fucking life. It's stupid. It's retarded. It certainly has retarded the progression of the species, I'll tell you that. Believing, okay? It's so crooked. It's so ingenuous. It's so it's almost criminal. But it's like cheating. Okay, I'll explain this. I either know something to be true, I know it to be false, or I just don't know. Just don't know. I don't have to have an answer for everything. I can deal with a little bit of ignorance in my life. But I have for years, but that's another story. Now, a religious person will either know something to be true, they will know something to be false, or they'll pick one of the two that's their favorite and they'll just fucking go with it. That's believing. Just, arbitrary assumption. You don't have to rely on any facts. You don't have to know shit. Man, well, I tell you, I sure would like that one little event to be proven correct, just because it makes me smile. But I can't really say for certain that it happened. I can't say for certain that it didn't happen. How am I to know? It happened thousands of years ago. Fuck, I can barely remember what happened to me yesterday. But I tell you what, I want it to be true so bad. I want to tell people I believe it's true. Yeah, that'll do it. I'll just tell them that, yes, it is true because I believe it to be so. And of course they won't be able to really question me about that because belief, it happens here. And that's the way I'll do it. I don't need to know whether it's true or not. It should be true. It should be. I believe it should be. That's the difference between a non-believer like myself and a believer. I sometimes just don't fucking know. I don't know. And it doesn't bother me. Believers, they like to know. I mean, their scripture helps them in that regard. They have an answer for everything. Trust me. They have people that have their own stories and shit. I mean, a religion is a story. And everybody's got one. But they have an answer for everything. And for some folks, if they don't even find an answer for everything in their scripture or whatever, they'll tell you God works in mysterious ways. That is believing. You don't have to know the facts. You don't have to know shit. What the fuck you want things to be like? You just believe they are. And to you, They are. That's belief. Sorry. It has no redeeming qualities at all. Now there is a social use of the word believe that I can live with. I don't have a problem with this one. And this is, you probably will recognize this. It's, you know, as if I said, I believe in my wife, or I believe in my children. You know, that's more of a loving thing. That's kind of a, that's like a support thing. That's a family thing. I don't have a problem with that. But that has nothing to do with how the words believe and belief are used in religion. It's so strange. Enough of that. Let me ask you a question. Simple question. I'm a very simple person. I don't have anything with fucking simple questions, okay? Why do you have to have a story? And by story, I mean, you know, religion, whatever the deal is, you know, religions are stories, I'm sorry. Why do you feel you have to have a story? I don't have to have a story. Why do you have to have a story? Why does your happiness depend on you devoting your life to a story? What are you, 12? You know, I mean, it sounds like so much make-believe shit. You know, I mean, and it is. You know, I mean, why is it you feel that you can't just exist in this world unless you have some fucking, you know, fable, some fucking story? You have to have a story, and that just, you know, that's so, I mean, that's so much like putting a fucking playing card in your bicycle spokes. It just makes noise. It doesn't do shit for you. You know, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Why do you have to have a story? I don't have to have a story. And I am extremely happy in my life. You know, and I don't have a story. My life has been fucking marvelous. I mean, it's almost embarrassing when I see other people around me all the time. Most of them believers, you know? And they're just fucking miserable. They're not happy. You know, I've seen people that I'm sure were just, I mean, they knew every word of their scripture, whatever the fuck it was, and they knew for certain that their story was right, and they strapped explosives to their bodies and blew themselves and others up because of their story. Because of this fucking story. Shit. I mean, you know, why can't you exist in this world? Why can't you just walk down the street of life like I do without a story? I swear to goodness, you know, I mean, you know, and if this helps from someone who's not all caught up and busy with, you know, your stuff, life itself is just fucking fabulous. It's beautiful. It's marvelous. I don't understand why you have to have a story. What does that do for you? You know? It's just so bizarre. So bizarre. However, I will say this, with all sincerity. I have a great deal of respect for believers and you know, religious folk in general, because, you know, not being an atheist, I don't hang out with, you know, a lot of church folk, but I do have a lot of believer friends, a lot of them, you know, and they consider me their friend. You know, they understand me. I'm, you know, cranky old atheist Rick, you know. He's harmless. You know, most of this shit's centuries old. I doubt I'm going to do much damage to it. But I have a lot of respect for believers and, you know, just religious people in general, because just by the sheer fact that you actually had to decide on which religion was going to be the one that's just right for you, and the amount of research that you had to do to, you know, sensibly do that. Gosh, I'm sorry. I only have a high school diploma. You know, I mean, I didn't have to do all that much reading like, you know, you did. Man, there's over 10,000 religions in the world. I mean, I know you know this, you know, because I know you read every one of them. You had to. Shit, I would. But, I mean, you know, still I'm lazy Rick over here, the atheist that doesn't have to read any of this shit. So I don't believe in heaven. I don't believe in any gods or anything. But, man, when I think of how many years it must have taken each and every one of you to read all of, you know, you would have had to read the Quran and, you know, of course the Bible, everybody's scripture, everywhere, all across the world, all these fucking 10,000 religions, you had to find every one of those and read their scripture, read everything they had, so you'd know for sure what each one of them was about, you know, so you'd be able to, you know, say to yourself, I looked at every one of them, and I know for certain that the one I've chosen, that's me. That's me. My God is a real God. My God is the only God. Yes. I researched my ass off for however many years you must have had to do that, man. It's just awesome. It's just awesome. I really am in awe. You know, I don't know if I have the brains for all that, man. That's pretty cool. So, you know, my hat's off to you just for figuring it out. Last little thing here, and I'm going to try to make this a question of some sort. How do you think your life would look if you didn't have your story? I mean, you know, how would you be existing? How would you be living your life if you didn't have your religion and your story? You know, would you go out and like start killing and raping people and shit? You know, because I've heard that from people. Actually, more than once I've heard that from people. Well, if there wasn't any God, hell, we'd all be out just, you know, trying to rape and kill each other. Well, it sounds like you just want to go out and rape and kill people, but, you know, actually, but you know what I'm saying? You know, what would your life look like? What would be so bad? I guess that's my question. If you didn't have a religion, if you didn't have all of that, if your life wasn't so wrapped up in all of that, you know, if you didn't have to go to church and, you know, choir and, you know, all this and, you know, that and this, if you didn't have to do all that, if you didn't have your religion, what would your life look like? I mean, you know, would you go fishing or something? You know, but or would you turn into a beast? Do you believe? You know, do you think that the only reason that you haven't turned into like a monster and started, you know, going out and raping and killing people because, you know, what the hell, there's no God, so who cares? Is that really how you would do it? Yeah. That's just another question for you, you know, to think about. And of course, yes, these are all rhetorical, you know. Anyway, I think I'm done for this video. I certainly shall talk on the same subject again. But that's it for right now. I certainly appreciate you letting me bend your ear. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you all have a good day. Thanks.